I know that when we talk about PTSD, it involves flashbacks, memory. And there's a lot of things that goes on in your brain, in your mind, that you just can't shut off. Yes, especially when your life and your integrity is threatened, like yours were.
You mentioned flashbacks, and I have one that I still have today. It's not so much a flashback, but I'll have to bring you back just a little bit. So when I was in Afghanistan, we were parked on the side of the road, our convoy. We were just waiting there for hours like we did. And there was these two little girls sitting on the side of the road. I want to say about 4 and 6, or maybe 6 and 8. But they were drinking from this dirty, nasty ditch about maybe 20 feet long, and there was a camel standing next to it. And I went out there and I gave them each a bottle of water, and I had to help them. I had to show them how to open it. And they drank these water, and when they got done, they filled it up with the poo-poo water, and they started drinking out of it too. But I gave them what I could, and it's just but that water has a smell that I've never smelt before, a smell that you can even taste, and from 20 feet away from there, you can smell that water, how dirty, nasty, but I've never smelled that before. And I can be in my living room watching TV, air conditioning, no smell in my home, and then all of a sudden I smell that smell so strong, and then I taste it, and it's like, and it's there. It's so real. It's a smell that I've never smelled before I went over there. And
wow. Now you have physical injuries.
I do.
Right. And what were the physical injuries that you had?
So I had a severe limb salvage on my left limb, and where I had both the bones had broken, came out the side of my leg, and then they had to cut down this and because do a fasciotomy because it had swollen up. I had almost lost my leg, and here about a year back, they came back and they took all the screws out because I do suffer still from a lot of pain from that.
And there are probably a number of vets who have experienced either active duty and been exposed to war, exposed to trauma. What would you tell them regarding where they need to be or what they need to try to get to?
Well, it's about wanting a better life for yourself, and that's what I wanted. And as far as with my TBI, my memory was severely affected, my short-term memory, and then with my leg, and I went through a lot of pain. And one of the most beneficial things that I have found and I had done for myself was the doctors. They would just throw medicine at me. They were giving me 3 oxycodone 10 milligram sustained release 4 times a day, and then they were giving me 4 5 milligram instant relief 4 times a day. So I would take 7 Oxycontin 4 times a day. 3 of them were instant, and 4
were sustained.
4 were,
extended release.
And I could watch a movie, and I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't get it. I thought they're doing bad actors. I just didn't get it. I would have to watch a video that I watched, Lion King or something we watched hundreds of times with the kids, and I still would get lost in it. But I knew because, and what it was I took myself off of all those pain medicines. I stopped taking them all. I started taking supplements. I take magnesium to help prevent headaches. And then I take it's a Marinol. It's for pain. It's a THC supplement, and it's so I don't have to I don't take any of those narcotics that they gave me, and I try to go as natural as I can, and that cleared up my mind so much. I do still have severe pain, and I push through lots of it, and at the same time, I've developed lots of techniques that I've came up with to
share what one of your techniques.
Okay. So if you have a pen and piece of paper, just if you think back and just close your eyes and think of a scenario, what's something that's just completely calming? For me, it was a lake house with nothing, nothing around, and then you got to kind of on this piece of paper. So you wrote down your lake house. Well, what are you hearing while you're out there? The chirps of the birds and the trickling of the river, whatever you're hearing. And you write down all these. This is your happy place. And while you're thinking of all these different things to write down, you just distracted yourself from that pain that's just,
all over you. Wow.
I mean, you're sitting here getting into it and trying to think, well, what do I smell? What do I taste? What do I feel? And I change it up sometimes, and it's like, well, what kind of things would I like to do to my home to make it a home? And I just start thinking, you distract yourself. That's the pain medicine distracts you. You take all these medicines, you watch TV, you don't know what's going on because you're distracted. You can't follow what the guy's saying on the news because
you're not all there.
You're not there.
Now, you have started a new journey.
Yes, sir.
Talk about your new journey.
Well, I enrolled in college. One of the things I joined the military to help better my family was the GI Bill. I'm going to earn this GI Bill. My kids are going to go to college, and I got blown up early, so I wasn't in long enough to be able to pass that down to my children. So what the Army had told me, or what the VA said, was you have 15 years from your retirement date to use nearly 1,400 hours of college.
Wow.
And the VA said, you should take a few years, take 5 or 10 years, and get your medical where you want to be, and then start college and try. And I said, well, then I'll only have 3 years left. I could do whatever I want if I could do it in 3 years.
That's right.
So I thought, I'm going to start now. If I try it, I signed up for a 2-year degree. If I get in here and I go a year and I decide I can't do it, or if I decide it's a little too much for me, I'll either back off, and I'm doing full time right now. But I'll either back off or I'll let it expire, and then I can wait 10 years, and then if it expires, at least I gave it a shot.
Yeah. So how is it going for you?
It's amazing.
Wow.
It's the easiest thing I've ever done.
Putting in a lot of new information. So what is your specialization? What is your interest?
So out of the degrees, I had chose water resource science.
Wow.
I want to learn how to make water, take dirty water and make it clean.
Oh, that goes back to what you saw with the 2 girls on the side of the road. I connected. Wow, that is wonderful.
The Lord picked it for me, and I was going through all these degrees, and I didn't, I picked, the school was right down the road from my house at Northwest Vista 2-year college. I went through their degrees, and the Lord kept pulling me back to that water science, and that's what I chose.
Well, and so I'm just so proud of you. I'm just I know your mom and dad and parents are just, and your children and your wife. I know everybody, grandparents, everybody. Just so I know they're just proud of you. You got a Purple Heart for being injured in duty.
And I got a combat infantry badge. Anybody can get a Purple Heart.
Okay,
but combat. And that's what. But I want to thank you for what you're doing for our veterans, because there's a small percentage of us that actually go into the military. Less than 1% of Americans will go and join the military.
Really?
And out of all the positions in the military, the combat positions, so there's very few of us. And for someone to actually come out and help us and to just work with it, or just to talk with us. I mean,
it pulls at me. I won't forget this day. I won't forget this interview and this time with you. I wanted to bring spotlight to mental health and the importance of removing the stigmas and the myths that people with mental illness, they're normal people. They work, they have families, they have careers, they go to school, and they learn how to live with whatever the condition is.
I'll tell you, my story is amazing, but this is the beginning of it. And if you catch me back in 10 years, I'm gonna write more chapters.
Well, I know that's right. Well, Kevin, first of all, I want to say thanks to his service. And, you know, he served in the 11th Bravo Infantry as a radio telephone operator, RTO. And this was a very personal story for me in that I am friends with his father and other family members. And I remember the day I received the call regarding Kevin. And as you've already heard, Kevin was so severely injured, he was not expected to live. My wife and I and so many others prayed for Kevin, his family, his wife, and his children. And watching him take this journey to where he is today is a miracle. And I hope Kevin's story provides a glimmer of hope and promise to what can happen in a person's life who is determined. If you are dealing with PTSD, I want you to stop right now and reach out for help. If you know someone that is suffering from PTSD, call them and ask them to watch this show. And listen, let's find a way to always honor our veterans for their service. So many of them are suffering when they come back and live with that every day.